Imagine a country in Southeast Asia where Portuguese is an official language. Welcome to Timor-Leste, a nation with a unique linguistic heritage. Nestled north of Australia and framed by the vast Indonesian archipelago, Timor-Leste stands as a beacon of Portuguese influence in Asia. This tropical island, with its lush landscapes and rich cultural tapestry, holds the distinction of being the only Asian nation where Portuguese is woven into the fabric of its official communication. Now, how did Portuguese find its way to the shores of this tropical island? Let's dive into history. Our story begins in the 16th century, with Portuguese explorers setting foot on Timor. Driven by the allure of the lucrative spice trade and the strategic position of Timor as a gateway between the Indian and Pacific Oceans, these explorers were quick to establish a foothold. The year was 1515 when the first Portuguese arrived, marking the start of over 4 centuries of influence. The primary motivation for the Portuguese was the control of the spice trade routes, which were immensely profitable. Spices such as sandalwood, which was abundant in Timor, were highly prized in Europe for their uses in medicine, perfumery, and preservation. The Portuguese recognized the island's strategic importance as a stopping point for their ships navigating these vast oceans. As they settled, Portuguese became the administrative language and gradually the common lingua franca among the local populace. This linguistic shift was pivotal, embedding Portuguese deeply into the societal fabric of Timor. Despite centuries of colonial rule, the imprint of Portuguese culture and language endured even beyond Portugal's departure. Fast forward to the 20th century, a time of upheaval and the fight for independence. In 1975, shortly after Portugal began the process of decolonization, Indonesia invaded Timor-Leste, marking the beginning of a brutal and protracted struggle that would last for nearly 3 decades. The Timorese people, despite being small in number and less equipped, showed an extraordinary level of resilience and determination. The Portuguese language, once a tool of colonial administration, evolved during these turbulent years into a potent symbol of resistance. It served as a unifying thread among the Timorese, who are comprised of a diverse tapestry of ethnic groups and languages. Speaking Portuguese became more than a means of communication. It was an act of defiance against Indonesian rule, a declaration of cultural identity, and a link to the broader world of Lusophone nations. With independence in 2002, Timor-Leste faced a choice about its official language. In the new millennium, Timor-Leste made a defining choice about its linguistic future. As the dawn of independence approached in 2002, the young nation declared Portuguese one of its official languages, alongside Tetum. This decision was far from arbitrary. It was a deliberate step to weave the threads of its past into the fabric of its future. But why choose Portuguese, a language spoken by only a minority at the time? The reasons are layered and profound. Firstly, embracing Portuguese was a nod to Timor-Leste's historical ties with Portugal, reflecting a shared history that stretches back over 4 centuries. It was also a strategic move to distinguish itself from its neighbors, particularly Indonesia, thereby reinforcing its unique identity on the global stage. Moreover, adopting Portuguese opened doors to the Lusophone world, a community of nations connected by language and culture, which includes Brazil, Angola, and Mozambique. This affiliation has fostered diplomatic and cultural exchanges, enriching Timor-Leste's international relationships. Portuguese in Timor-Leste is not just about communication, it's about preserving a unique identity in Asia. Today, Portuguese connects Timor-Leste not only to its past but also to a global community. In schools across the nation, new educational initiatives are vigorously promoting Portuguese, aiming to weave it deeply into the fabric of future generations. The airwaves too play their part, with Portuguese media broadcasting across the country, bringing news and entertainment that solidify its everyday use. Cultural festivals abound, celebrating the language through music, dance, and art, despite the challenges faced in teaching it to the youth. From colonial times to its role as a marker of independence and identity, Portuguese in Timor-Leste is a fascinating tale of resilience and revival.